You are watching Area DMG.
Welcome back to Area DMG. I'm your host, Will Wesley, the Mile High Mouth, and for today's episode of Area DMG, we're taking a look at Etrian Odyssey Untold, the Millennium Girl, for the Nintendo 3DS, and we're taking a look at it on a new Nintendo 3DS with a top IPS screen and a new Nintendo 3DS with a top and bottom IPS screen. We're comparing the picture quality between the two IPS screens. Okay, just so you note, these are on their highest brightness settings, and you will see a little bit of lines, I guess, on each of the screen because we're taping off screen with a camera. That happens whenever you aim a camera at any kind of screen, regardless of IPS or TN or whatnot. Now, the new Nintendo 3DS and the new Nintendo 3DS XL have a different pixels per inch count. They have the same resolution, but on the new 3DS XL, it's stretched a little bit, which can lead to stuff looking a little bit blurrier in some instances. And because of that, you'll note that there is a small noticeable difference between the two systems in terms of contrast, even though they are both the same spec of screen, just one slightly larger. Okay, let's go ahead and hit the A button. One's running digitally and one is running off card. So there may be differences in loading too. Maybe. We're going to let the opening sequence play and use that to compare the two. And we have the music off a little bit because, well, Atlas, although I think we can get away with it with Atlas. God, I love Etrian Odyssey. Fantastic music. And if you bought them new, they came with a little soundtrack sampler. Gorgeous stuff. But yeah, pretty much a great game. So good. But I like making maps. So that's kind of a thing. Now, stuff that's a little darker sequenced or with a lot of green looks a bit more blue because of the camera. But generally you get kind of the basic idea between the two. It's a great opening sequence. There we go. Etrian Odyssey. That's a really vibrant green, but that's just kind of the way it looks because of that. Okay, hit new game. There's no data from any demo. They can do story or classic. We're going to do classic. Classic mode, blah blah. Proceed with classic mode. Expert, of course. There's no other way to play Etrian Odyssey. Unless you're like, you really want to go through the, you can choose difficulty anyway. Starting classic mode with expert difficulty. The brink of the maze. A lot of Etrian Odyssey is these still sequences like this. A lot of it's told through text. There we go. Etria. We're at the Explorers Guild. Yeah, a lot of it's told through, well, text. It's a long game and definitely worth checking out. There is a demo on the eShop right now, and you should definitely check that out. How many of you have played any of the Etrian Odyssey games? Etrian Odyssey Untold and Etrian Odyssey Untold 2 are pretty much the easiest way to get into the series because there's a lot of, quote, quality of life things that they've done to make them a little bit more accessible. Now, one thing about Etrian Odyssey, aside from like the fact that you have to make your own maps as you proceed through the dungeons, it has enemies within the first dungeon, essentially, who could wipe you out really, really easily. I'm going to go ahead and change the theme on this one to a red theme so we can compare these. How many of you play Etrian Odyssey? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. I hit pink. Change theme. But yeah, hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you subscribe, make sure you share. And if you also make sure you hit that little bell up by the little subscribe button so that you are notified whenever we have new videos available. And until the next video comes out, you are now caught up.
You got too much money, honey. All of this dust is threatening the structural integrity of the treehouse.
Who would have thought we could have too much treasure?